Alright guys, there is a ton of RPG news and Nintendo Switch that we've got to talk about today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're starting off first with Pokemon Day. So if you're watching this on the week of the 26th, Pokemon Day is upcoming. We've got a live stream that's going down on February 27th, Tuesday at 6 a.m. PT. That is 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And I will be streaming the show right here on PlayerEssence. I'll be bright and early up because I'm here in California, so I'll be up by like 4 a.m. to get ready for the live stream. So you can swoop by and check out the live stream with me right here. Now, the big thing about the Pokemon Day is that you never know what you're going to get here. There's been a number of duds when it comes to Pokemon Day. Then there's been some good ones as well. For example, my favorite one was when they announced Pokemon Legends Arceus. I think it was back in 2021 or something like that. So that was a pretty big Pokemon Day. Now, they've done Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but obviously there's been a little bit of a lull because of the quality of the Pokemon games. The quality of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, some of the DLC as well, not being able to run as good as it should. Yes, the Nintendo Switch isn't the most powerful system in the world, but yes, they should be better. So there's been a little bit of, I would say, less excitement for the Pokemon games. So this is a perfect opportunity now that we're in 2024 to finally say, hey, we're going to send off the Switch right here. Maybe there's something that we get when it comes to Pokemon. Now, what leads me to believe that there's going to be a bit more when it comes to Pokemon at Pokemon Day and just not mobile games all over the place is because the official Nintendo NY store has stated on Twitter, and it says, join us on 02/27 at 9 a.m. ET as we live stream hashtag Pokemon Presents at the hashtag Nintendo NYC. Entry is on a first come, first serve basis. Now, usually with these live streamed events where they do it, they want to get the crowd reaction, right? They want to get that, and then you see it posted on Twitter and on social media. Oh my gosh, they went crazy for this Pokemon game that was announced, or this other game that was announced. They usually do this with Nintendo Directs as well and certain things when they're live, right? So I do think that since they are having people come in for this, I think they actually are going to have something. Now, they've done this before. I think they did it last year or something like that, but this is also compounded with some of the rumors that are out there. So over on Centro Leaks, they actually talked about this as well. So they stated this about one of the most notorious leakers, Mr. Pioro, and he actually responded to them in the comment section. So Central Leaks, which I don't like reporting on them, but Pioro did respond, so we will talk about it. So it says Pioro, the Nintendo Direct leaker, is now saying that he heard about an outsourced Unova, that's Pokemon Black and White, that generation, related game last year. He very clearly says to take it with a grain of salt, as the information may have changed or be inaccurate. But there you go. Now, Pioro also responded to that tweet saying, I don't think it's worth reporting. I'm willing to take the L if it ends up being wrong. So remember here, so he says an outsourced Unova related project last year. So outsourced as in the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, Nintendo, they're all working together, are working with another or a different company to work on a Black and White remake or Black and White something, right? Now, Pokemon Legends Arceus, that was developed internally by another team at Game Freak. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, that was developed by ILCA. That was external, with Game Freak and the Pokemon Company also being as advisory to them. So even if it is outsourced, that doesn't mean there isn't going to be some issues or people are going to be upset with whatever they reveal. Now, the rumors that are floating around outside of that is that we could see a Let's Go Johto, right? We can see like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, but the Johto version of that. So Pokemon Gold and Silver. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen at this Pokemon Day, and I'm just excited to maybe get something that kind of turns the tide a little bit, right? I think that if you look at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the situation there, I think that people definitely need something else. It's been a while since that game has released now at this point. I think that came out, that was 2022, so we're going on 2 years for the anniversary of that game, and the Pokemon Company always likes to have something out new. Now, there could be side games as well. We could get Pokemon Coliseum or Mystery Dungeon or NSO games on there, so Gold and Silver and stuff like that on the Nintendo Switch Online. so there's no telling what could happen. Now, the Pokemon Company has also stated that they have exciting news for us, but then again, they always say exciting. This could be like a new Charizard card that comes in a $400 suitcase or something like that, right? So you have to make sure that you temper your expectations a little bit when it comes to what the Pokemon Company has to say, but now we're kind of seeing some little things outside of that that might lead to it being a bigger show than normal. So I want to see Pokemon Legends. That would be really cool if there was a Pokemon Legends with the Johto region or Pokemon Legends with Black and White, but I think that maybe it's a bit too soon for that, and that would be something that would be on the next Nintendo Switch system, not on this one. But we're going to have to wait and see if it's a Let's Go remake, or if it's a Brilliant and Diamond Shining Pearl type of remake, or it's something completely different in its own right. So what do you guys think? What are your predictions on what we could see at Pokemon Day? Let me know in the comment section. Also, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Now let's move on to another incredibly exciting action RPG that gives me Astral Chain vibes. This could be the next Astral Chain when it comes down to it. And it's a game that was revealed at the Japanese Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase called Reynatis, and it's a really cool looking game. There's some people that have worked on some big RPGs like Final Fantasy that are heading up this project for Furyu. So let's get into exactly what Reynatis is, when you can expect it, and if it will be localized here in the West. But I've got good news for you guys, because it probably will. So shout outs to Gematsu for the beat on this one. So publisher Furyu and developer Natsumi Atari have released the first official trailer, information, and screenshots for Reynatis. It's a newly announced action RPG set in modern-day Shibuya, Tokyo. So here is the story setup for Reynatis. In this world, there exists those who can use magic and those who cannot. Wizards are feared and regarded as dangerous by regular civilians, and so they are forced to conceal their identities and live in secrecy. Shibuya, Tokyo, 2024. In accordance with the anti-magic law, requests to follow nighttime curfews have been issued. However, these have quickly lost substance and not many adhere to them. Marin is a wizard who has lived his life in oppression. Quote, "If I become the strongest, I can be liberated." Relying on the worlds left behind by his father, Marin descends onto nighttime Shibuya to obtain his freedom. Sari Nishijima, after awakening to her magic, decides to use her power to maintain order. She enforces her own justice in order to protect Shibuya from illegal drugs that turn civilians into monsters and forces with dangerous ideals. Marin, who hopes for a spiritual liberation, and Sari, who treats the suppression of wizards as justice. The story begins when these two encounter each other in Shibuya, a place where all sorts of ideas and cultures come together. So this is a very interesting setup, and the reason why I kind of give the Astral Chain comparisons, of course, the setting, right? The vibe, the nighttime, it kind of has that feel to it, but also the original, I would say, idea for Astral Chain was to be a magic and wizards type of game. Nintendo did suggest that they turn it into what it ended up being, but the original vision was to have magic in Shibuya in a modern setting and do all that. So it seems like they took that concept and said, okay, we'll make a game out of what the original concept of Astral Chain. Now let's get into more details on what you can expect from this PlayStation 4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch RPG. Explore Shibuya and another world. The real-life city of Shibuya has been realistically reproduced, from Scramble Crossing to Shibuya Center Gai, Miyashita Park, Spain Zaka, and so on. Tons of landmark areas have been recreated in the game. By walking around the city, you will come across famous retail facilities like Shibuya 109, as well as the long-established shops widely known only to those in the know. Beyond the fog, entrances to another world that exists throughout the city, lies another world called Another, wafting with magical power. In addition to fields like forests and wastelands, there are also areas that resemble factories and art museums, with the depths of Another are shrouded in mystery. Now let's talk a little bit more about the systems and mechanics in the game. Hoodie system, swapping between suppressed mode and liberated mode. During the game, you can switch between suppressed mode and liberated mode at the press of a button. In suppressed mode, while you cannot attack at all in battle, you can evade all attacks with the press of a button. In liberated mode, you can rain down attacks on enemies all at once, but you will also be defenseless, so it's important to master the timing of swapping between the two modes. In suppressed mode, you can move around while concealing your identity as long as you are not revealed to be a wizard. You will be able to talk to civilians in conversations, you can obtain hints for exploration, as well as trigger new quests. While in liberated mode, there are many advantages such as using magic and swift movement to explore, but there are also disadvantages such as the risk of being reported by a civilian, which will send formidable officers running your way. Now that also sounds really exciting, the fact that you have some type of oppression against you at the same time, but then you're also going incognito in terms of suppressing it to get information. I think that's going to create a very interesting dynamic when it comes to the story and the gameplay, swapping between the different modes, having dodging access and being able to go back and forth between them. It seems really cool from what they've talked about here. A story featuring two protagonists, each with their different perspectives. Marin aims for the depths of another in search of the ultimate power, and Sari moves to protect the public order of Shibuya. And their story progress turn by turn. A third force called the Guild comes into play. Keep your eyes peeled for the story of these two who live in the darkness and seek the light. Now we also have different game editions as well, a normal physical edition, physical Liberators box, digital Liberators edition as well. Pre-orders, you can get some different outfits and things like that. Now Reynatis is officially out for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch on July 25th in Japan. You guys of course are checking out the trailer, and yeah, it's looking really good. Expect NIS America to pick this one up. I'm not sure if we'll get a release date around the same time, but it should be sometime this year in 2024. I do think that this game is looking way too good for NIS America not to pick up, and they usually pick up Furuyu and their games and everything. So yeah, and plus there was a trailer and it was in English. Some of it was translated in English, or they already had it in English. So yeah, it's gonna happen, guys. It's just a matter of when they decide to announce it and what release date they have for the Western version of the game, so don't worry about that. But what are your thoughts on Reynatis, guys? I think this game looks really cool. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, we are gonna move on to some other topics here with a tease of a big action RPG franchise. But before that, we've got some information that NieR Automata has sold over 8 million units so far. This is wild to see. So total shipments and digital sales for NieR Automata have exceeded 8 million units according to Square Enix. Now, NieR Automata was last reported in April 2023 to have reached 7.5 million units. NieR Automata first launched for the PlayStation 4 in Japan on February 23rd, 2017, followed by the PlayStation 4 in North America on March 7th and Europe on March 10th. PC via Steam worldwide on March 17th, and Xbox One worldwide a year later on June 26, 2018. A quote, Game of the Year Yora Edition launched for the PlayStation 4 and PC worldwide in 2019 February, and then the End of the Yora Edition for Nintendo Switch launched on October 6, 2022. So I think the big thing with that here, guys, is that yeah, we saw that the sales got up to 6 million or so and all of that, 7 million. Then when the Nintendo Switch version launched, it's been boosted up more. We could maybe say from this that the Nintendo Switch version is at least 500,000 to 1 million units at this point, because that was the version that came out and it kind of drove the sales to advance even more, especially at that great price tag of $39.99. And there's been some deals we can get it for $29.99 or so, and people are picking it up, and it's a solid port. If you go on my top 25 Nintendo Switch AAA ports, NieR Automata, the End of Your Edition, is one of the top games on there because it is a really good port of the game. And visually speaking, it's not too far off from what you see on the PlayStation 4 version of the game. Now, the frame rate is not up to where the PS4 or Xbox One or PC versions are, but I do think that it holds steady at that 30 frames with some dips here and there, but it's not an overwhelmingly bad port or anything like that on the Nintendo Switch. So I think fans are confident to go out there and pick up the game. And once again, with that price point, with the acclaim the game has, the style, the gameplay, it works really well on the Nintendo Switch or any other platform that you want to pick it up on. So I think that's the reason why the sales have continued to be pretty evergreen at this point. They did a good job of getting it out on multiple different systems, and 8 million units is wild. I think if you told anybody a while back, a number of years ago, that NieR could outsell big Final Fantasy games, you'd be like, no way. It doesn't matter if Final Fantasy is only on PlayStation and PC or not. There's no way a NieR game is going to outsell Final Fantasy. But yeah, we're here at this point. So what do you guys think about the sales of NieR Automata, the End of Your Edition on Nintendo Switch and all these systems? Let me know. But this kind of transitions right into another topic that is very interesting, that we could be seeing a brand new NieR game very soon here. It looks like Yoko Taro has teased NieR 3, something called NieR 3 Repent. Well, let's get into it here. So at the NieR Orchestra concert, which has been touring at different stops throughout the globe, there's been reportings that the NieR Repent has been teased by the game's director, MyNintendoNews writes. Now, Yoko Taro, at the end of an event in London, he did take the stage and inform fans that the president of Square Enix was in the crowd, and if they wanted a NieR Automata sequel, to give the loudest applause of the night. While this was going on, the screens in the background lit up with Repent, which finally turned into Repent, but with the E replaced with a 3. So this definitely leads many people to believe that the third installment is coming because they replaced that Repent with a 3. And I definitely think it's happening, especially with the news of NieR Automata selling 8 million and the news that Square Enix will be buckling down in terms of their quality and what they decide to put out. Less of the middle line type of games that aren't that great and more of the big games that they know can do well. Well, NieR Automata is one of their best selling games in the modern era, so I absolutely think that NieR Automata 3, or NieR 3 more like it, is absolutely coming to Xbox, PlayStation, who knows what else, PC, whatever they decide to do. So I think it's definitely coming. We could get an announcement maybe this year. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But let me know what you guys think about this fantastic NieR news in the comment section below. But we do have one more sales update to give you guys for today's video, and that is Tales of Arise. We've got Tales of Arise shipments and digital sales are over 3 million units. So total worldwide shipments and digital sales for Tales of Arise have surpassed that awesome mark of 3 million. Bandai Namco has announced, now the achievement comes 21 months after the announcement that the game has sold 2 million units. So it's definitely a little bit more of an evergreen. You're getting more people chipping away at the sales. The DLC did come out and the game has been discounted to really low prices. So I think that's why you're getting some nice movement on here. I do think that with Bandai Namco, I'm going to have a separate video about Bandai Namco and what they're doing for the next Nintendo Switch and what they're doing even with the current Nintendo Switch with some of the day and date stuff that never was. But I do think that this game will come to the next Nintendo Switch, and that should boost sales in Japan and worldwide as well, because the Tales games that have came out on the Nintendo Switch have done really well. So I do think that there's more for this game when it comes to the sales. It is on Xbox Game Pass and it is on PlayStation Plus, so I don't see the sales bumping up too much more from that. But just like NieR Automata, I think that we could see a nice bump with a Nintendo version of the game. So I think that is coming with the next Nintendo Switch 2. So what do you guys think overall with everything that we discussed here when it comes to the Pokemon Day and the new RPG Reynatis? You got a potential new NieR game and of course Tales. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch and RPG videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.